Welcome to Articulation. This is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Ultimate Riders Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider, aka Frank Castle of Earth TRN 666, was created by writer Donny Cates and artist Jeff Shaw in 2018's Thanos Volume 2, number 13. Originating from an alternate reality where Thanos succeeds in exterminating all life in the universe, Frank, in his final moments, makes a deal with Mephisto. Powered by the undying spirit of vengeance, but with no one left to punish, Castle scours the planet for centuries, alone. It isn't until the desperate arrival of Galactus where the Ghost Rider trades the dying planet Earth for the power cosmic and role as herald. This is not the first Frank Castle figure we've gotten this past year, nor the second. It's not even the last in the Rider line, but it is the first and probably last Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Out of the box, Frank comes with his motorcycle broken up into 7 pieces. Attach the cosmic muffler to the cosmic chassis, cosmic grips to the cosmic handlebars, 2 halves of the cosmic wheel to the cosmic suspension. Pro tip, combine the lighting effect first. And finally, the cosmic smoke exhaust to the cosmic, undercarriage. Altogether, you've got yourself a bona fide cosmic hell cycle. Aside from that, Frank comes with 2 unique blasters and the rider's signature chain whip, this time cast in translucent orange. The figure itself appears to be based on his appearance on the cover of Cosmic Ghost Rider number 1, asymmetries and all. Basically just missing the glowing chains wrapped around his torso, which, hey, would have been cool, but, ultimately not necessary.
Cosmic Ghost Rider and his accessories are composed of 46-ish pieces, of which 15 are reused. The flaming chain from the first Ghost Rider released in the Ultimate Riders line, the skull head from the Terex Wave Ghost Rider, and the hands and legs from the Thigh Cut Down originate from the Red Onslaught Wave Taskmaster. Does that technically make him on the Bucky Cat body, or is this some kind of Ship of Theseus situation? While we've seen the original Hell Cycle reused plenty of times before, this iteration is all new. It's perfectly sculpted, which means it's big. So if you're worried about shelf real estate, listen up. From Cosmic Wheel to Jet Flame, it's 13 1/8 inches long or 35 centimeters. Including the smoke exhaust, it stands 5 3/5 inches or 14 centimeters tall, or about 6 inches including the rider. The actual sculpt of the bike feels like it jumped straight out of the comics, sleek and angular with a cosmic flair. While the blaster holsters are a nice practical feature, my favorite piece is the smoke exhaust that doubles as a stand. The only real downside are the screws that tunnel into the sculpt, but luckily just on one side. Still, I would've liked some plugs for those. By his lonesome, Frank stands 6.5 inches tall, or 16.5 centimeters. Squared up with his 6'1" counterparts, he actually comes in a little small. Basic proportions are there, even the relative size of the skull, but the hips definitely feel too broad. Clearly, this was done intentionally to allow the figure to better sit on his bike, but I can't help but feel the torso really needed widening to compensate. It ends up looking feminine, which is not a trait I'd attribute to the hyper-masculine Punisher. As for the rest of the sculpt, spiky, ribbed, and organic armor mix beautifully, accented by gashes and nicks all over, but because of the leg reuse, that attention to detail is somewhat lost. Even the hands feel a little soft. While technically very well executed, the leathery jacket sculpt on the back and arms don't seem comic accurate. Aside from that, the 3-part solution of the head was designed perfectly, making the skull seem like it's floating in a pool of flame. The guns too look like they jumped out of the panels, and the radiating plasma creates a unique effect. I can't help but wonder what the sculpt would have looked like if reuse wasn't prioritized. Though while there are certainly some design flaws, when rider and bike come together, it creates a cohesive piece, earning Sculpt an 8 out of 10.
Surprisingly, only 12 out of the 46 pieces that make up the rider and his accessories are painted, which is about 12% lower than your average comic-based figure. I say surprisingly because there's a lot of color to this figure, all things considered. except for the cosmic shock absorbers. All that translucent blue on the bike is molded plastic, cleverly fitted within the gunmetal gray shell. There is a spotted paint motif on the figure that would have carried nicely over to the blue parts of the bike, especially that giant ball of energy. But looking at the comic art, there's really not much more they could have done. The figure itself is mostly cast in a dull silver, with black detailing the ribbed armor. Where silver paint is needed, however, it perfectly matches the casted plastic. As mentioned before, the spotted paint motif is present on the torso, collar, arms, and thighs, representing the cosmic energies flowing through his body, and matches his spiky shoulder pads and cosmic armbands. Though, oddly, the colors on the arms are switched. The glowing eye sockets on the chest emblem also get a similar application, but these feel more like the traditional Kirby crackle. While the head and neck flames are cast in a translucent yellow, a red spray is applied to the skull that helps it stand out and appear as if his eyes are glowing, a well-designed effect. All in all, everything checks out. The only things I might have done differently would have been to mix the spotted colors together and maybe add a wash to the shoulder spikes. But what little there is works, and the colors matched perfectly, earning Deco an above average 6 out of 10.
Castle has an average 30 points of articulation, with an additional 2 on his trusty steed. First, the smoke stand attaches to the undercarriage with a ball joint and is stable enough for some damn fine posing. If you want to count it, the jet flames also spin. On the figure, the head sits on a ball joint, but effectively only spins, limited by his domed helmet. A ball and socket diaphragm joint splits the torso in two with great range in all directions. The shoulders attach with a standard hinge swivel, but are limited by the shoulder spikes attached to the torso. Bicep swivels do their job, as do the double-jointed elbows. Hands act as hinge swivels with standard range. The T-jointed legs attach to the torso with ball and sockets, and the thigh cuts do their job. Knees are double-jointed, while the feet pivot, hinge, and swivel at the ankles, an advantage of the reused parts. While the head might be the weakest part of the articulation scheme, the overall loss is made up for in the diaphragm and ankle cuts. Perhaps if the dome were a little bigger and the neck a double ball peg, it could have given the head a little more personality. But what's done is done, earning articulation a 7 out of 10.
To sum it up, Cosmic Ghost Rider is a great, unique-looking figure that'll stand out on any cosmic shelf. It has its flaws, but the good outweighs the bad, and when he's sitting on his bike, you won't even notice.
Before we get to the final score, if you like our style, consider giving this video a like. The easiest way to see more of us is to subscribe, but you can check out our Instagram and Reddit for even more content.
With its stylistic mixture of organic and futuristic sculpt, limited but effective deco design, and contemporary use of articulation, Cosmic Ghost Rider earns a final score of 7 out of 10.
Do you disagree with us?
Did we miss anything?
How would you improve the figure?
Let us know in the comments.
In our previous review, Figurehead Reviews wrote,
I'm so annoyed about that running change. I've been checking anytime I see him so I can get the tricep mounted wings, but no luck so far. Agree about the lack of sculpted lines too.
If you've never watched one of Figurehead Reviews' videos, do it. He does some good stuff. I'm Glenn.
I'm Eddie.
And this is Articulated.
Hey Jay, thanks for, mentioning us in your stream and Unparalleled Universe. You have an amazing beard, my dude. And this is coming from a baby face.